Tad O'Malley here from O'Malley & Langen. If you're used to wearing these, and now you're stuck home wearing these, you may have a disability that prevents you from working. Call us at O'Malley & Langen. We can help you get the Social Security benefits that you've earned. Good morning and welcome to You Be the Judge. My guests today are no strangers to You Be the Judge. Gene Tallarico, the president of Marley's Mission, and April Kemp, the founding member and executive director of the program. And I want to talk about Marley's Mission with you because they've taken on a new responsibility. From its beginnings, they were dealing with children traumatized frequently by abuse of any nature, any form of nature. And now they've included veterans suffering from PTSD and traumatic brain injury. Gene, how did this get started?
Todd, thanks again for having us on the show. And one of the things that you mentioned right up front is that the children that we see at Marley's Mission have experienced trauma from a variety of sources. One of the things we had seen in the recent years is we were seeing children from families who had been deployed and moms or dads or caregivers who had come back home and experienced post-traumatic stress themselves. And sometimes those kinds of things were not being addressed the right way. We had an opportunity to treat these children and give them a chance to reprogram what's happening in their lives. One of the things, though, is we didn't have the ability to treat the family members, the adult family members. And we had been searching for some time for the opportunity to do that using a similar form of therapy that we have, an equine-based psychotherapy. And after a lot of discussion with our board, we sort of talked about looking for a partner, looking for another group or organization that may be willing and have the expertise and the talent to do that. And we actually have done that now. For the past several months, a group called Equines for Freedom have been seeing adult service members that have experienced post-traumatic stress at our farm. It's in essence a co-location agreement where rather than them have to create a campus and buy horses and build buildings, they're utilizing what we have during the times that we are not utilizing them with children. And so far it's been working well. And clearly there's a need. We all know there's a significant need.
That's a terrific idea. So what a great use of the campus to be able to share it with the Equine for Freedom. Where are they located?
They have roots in both Susquehanna and Wyoming counties. Their physical location where they do their work is at Marley's Mission in Newton Township. So, but the folks that were involved in starting the program come from both Wyoming and Susquehanna counties, and now from other counties like Luzerne and Lackawanna as well.
You know, we have a fellow that went to the University of Scranton with me, Colonel Bart Billings, retired Air Force officer who has dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder. He's a doctor of psychology, and he is so angry at the Veterans Administration for their insistence on depending on opiates to treat a lot of these fellas. He said they turn them into zombies. And in fact, a lot of the guys just don't want that type of medication. And he mentioned to me some time ago that the equine therapy would be certainly something that would be very good for them.
It's very efficient in it, and you see results. The results that we've seen in children that we've treated are exemplified in what we're seeing in adults. And as time goes on, more and more acceptance exists in the community, in the treatment community, for this as an effective, efficient method to combat post-traumatic stress, especially in veterans.
You know, April, when we come back from the break, I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened to me flying out to Chicago over Christmas. I was greeted when I got off the plane by 3 dog handlers with 3 or 4 beautiful golden retrievers and Labrador retrievers. whose function was to calm people down when they're flying. So we've really learned a lot about using animals. So please stay tuned to You Be the Judge. Todd O'Malley again. If you're hurt or sick, can't work, Social Security could be the answer. Grab your cell phone. Call the lawyers at O'Malley & Langen, 1-800-817-2667. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win. Hi, I'm Todd O'Malley with the law offices of O'Malley & Langen. If I say the phrase life-changing experience, what do you think? Getting married, having a baby, buying a home, all good things. I'll bet you didn't think work injury. And that's a problem with our society. Many people just don't understand that being injured on the job and unable to work can change everything. It can destroy your earning power, hurt your family, damage your health. If you've been hurt at work, call O'Malley & Langen. You'll find there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Our lawyers will find that glimmer of hope and fight back. If you're afraid to make waves, scared of losing your job altogether, call O'Malley & Langen 24/7. Nights and weekends, one of our lawyers will answer the phone. So call 1-800-817-COMP. That's 1-800-817-2667. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win. As I was saying, April, just before the break, the airlines now are using dogs to help people acclimate themselves to the pressure, et cetera, in airports. And the handlers all had signs on their T-shirts, "Pet me, I'm here to greet you," and I mean, you couldn't get near the dogs. Everybody was petting them. They thought it was wonderful. But it's amazing how we have turned to animals for treatment, and you've seen that tremendously up at Marely's Mission, haven't you?
Absolutely. Time and time again. I mean, even when a family comes in skeptic of how a horse is going to help their child, they're amazed in the short amount of turnaround time that it takes for the child to bond with that animal and the treatment plan to unfold and to see progress. So dogs and horses alike, I mean, they definitely mirror the people that they're with.
Sure. And the veterans, how many do you have?
Equines for Freedom, right now, they're treating a very small amount of veterans right now. We're currently building a third arena on our property for their use as well as our use. So they will have a set amount of days where they can be able to take in more veterans. Funding, as you know, is always an issue with every new nonprofit. Sure. So that is something they're trying to get their hands around first and foremost, because as we know, that once you open your doors, you know, they're going to come.
Yep. And where do they get their funding, you know?
As of right now, I know that it has been 5Ks and smaller fundraisers that they've been doing. They've applied for a few different grants right now. I think they're just waiting to see where those have panned out.
And Gene, what's new with Marely's Mission as far as the grants that are coming in and how you're doing fundraising wise?
Well, it's important to continue to be aware and explore and partner. That's as we talked about earlier. I think what you see from funders all over the country is they don't want to see dollars wasted replicating back office. For us, our back office is an arena, a barn, and horses. So I think this is going to take us and position us in a really good, solid place moving forward, because we've leveraged a beautiful campus that has an opportunity to really heal children and now adult military veterans. So we're continuing to move forward in that, and we continue to have the fundraisers. We just came off of our signature event for the year, which is the Blue Ribbon Gala that's this past weekend at the Hilton, and it was another exceptional event with incredible work from so many members of this community that give their time and energy to make truly a night that everyone there can remember, and most importantly, that when they walk away, they walk away with some better knowledge and information as to what happens and what we do every day at Marley's Mission and the kind of stewards we are of the money that is given to us.
That's an important point, because a good friend of mine who's a quadriplegic now wanted to start raising money through a golf tournament. And he wasn't sure who he wanted to marry up with. But it was amazing how much money went to back office,
Yes.
And how little went to research with so many of these. And he ended up with the Bonacani Foundation down in Miami, the Miami Project. And he's worked with them for over 20 years. But the Clinton Foundation got in trouble recently with not enough money going to the foundation, too much going to the back office.
Absolutely. You see that even now with some veterans organizations that
Yep.
have been nationally known and have raised a great deal of money, and people are concerned that not enough is going to programming.
Yep.
Not enough is going to the mission of the mission, and we remain religious on making certain that 92, 93 cents on every dollar goes into
Wow.
the program, and that's something we have made a sort of a bright line from the day we opened our doors 5.5 years ago.
What's your greatest expense up there now?
The
April?
horses.
The horses?
Yes. We have 12 of them, and between the feed, the hay, the farriers, the vets, I think that is our greatest expense. Winter obviously hurts us a little bit,
Yeah.
having to heat the arenas and things like that. But I think they're all pretty manageable expenses.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, Todd, at the end of the day, the horses, in terms of what our back office is, our back office has 4 legs,
Yeah.
and our payroll, the folks that we pay to do this incredible work every day, that's the majority of what we spend our money on is the professionals that work in the arenas every day.
How about volunteers?
Volunteers, we have a large volunteer base. They're there and they help with mucking of stalls and general housekeeping issues around the farm, whether it be gardening or those different kinds of things. We can't have volunteers in the arena with our children for confidentiality reasons, but we also, we use them for events and things like that.
And how many volunteers do you have?
Oh, geez.
Oh, jeepers, that's
Couldn't even keep track of them?
we do,
We
yeah.
do. It's a lot.
I would say, for example, when we look at the Blue Ribbon Gala, and these are event-driven volunteers, the committee had about 45 people on it, and they range in age from 15 to question mark, for the sake of
Sure.
age. It's incredible. It's incredible. We have 40 or 50 people involved for 6 months planning and executing events. There are times, especially when the warmer weather comes, it's not uncommon to see 20 people on a Sunday at the farm, pruning trees, trimming trees, mucking stalls, doing what would cost us an inordinate amount of money to pay a staff member to do, and to do it quickly and efficiently, and do it with a purpose, so that when they leave, they feel like they've actually given something back to someone in our community.
Do you get anything through the court system as far as
In terms of help in that,
Yes.
like the
work release?
work
or-
release,
yeah.
typically we use them for specific events. Like, for example, at the Blue Ribbon Gala, they help us break down and set up.
Okay.
But at the farm, there's such a strong contingent. For example, a lot of businesses use this as an exercise for their team to come up and spend a day and have lunch and put 7 or 8 hours in, and use it as a team building exercise as well as a volunteer experience. So we've been very lucky in that regard. We've had some extraordinarily talented people.
What about training for the staff? This is a relatively new area of treatment.
Yes.
So I assume.
Well, with the people working with the children, the treatment teams, they have the licensed therapist, and obviously they're trained in the respective schooling. And then we have everybody else, the equine specialist and the therapists are sent to a level 1 and a level 2 with the Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association, and they set the standard for what we do with the kids in treatment.
We're going to have to break for some
Okay.
commercials, but when we come back, We're going to talk a little bit more about Marley's Mission and let you know how you can become involved in this tremendous, tremendous charity. I'm Todd O'Malley with the law offices of O'Malley & Langen. If I say the word tragedy, what do you think? Floods, hurricanes, devastation on a huge scale. I bet not one of you thought work injury. And that's a problem in our society. Just because something happens one person at a time doesn't make it any less significant. Over 3.5 million people are injured or killed on the job every year, each an individual tragedy. If you've been hurt at work, call O'Malley & Langen, 1-800-817-COMP.